This
or
conference
complete
will now be recorded.
you worked on the data science side. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it is a combination of both. There are few people are who has the programming experience, and few people are new to the programming, and some few people are they have some programming knowledge. This is a combination. Uh, like now, we will consider all these things. We'll get start this program from the scratch. We will introduce the what is the programming and how we are going to write your hello world example. Then you will be slowly taking to the how we are going to write a complex applications. How we are going to write a complex applications.
Lakshman, Sunita, so are we covering microservices as well or no? Just the Java?
As the end of the sessions, once we are done with the Spring and other concepts, we just will I'll show you that how you are going to deploy the microservices.
Okay.
Okay, as a microservices, it is a separate course, but
Okay.
I'll give you the fair view of the how the microservices works and how we are going.
Sure. Okay.
Uh,
You
okay,
want us to
so
turn on the videos? Maybe that's better, right?
yes,
Everybody.
videos will be provided. The recordings will be provided. End of the session, you will be giving the recordings as well
Okay.
as you will be giving the assignments like based on your time
Yeah.
how much time you're going to dedicate it for that. Like it is like as good as you are working in an organization. Suppose if
Oh.
you enter it as an entry level,
Mhm.
what are the trainings it will be given and what kind of assignments will be given. Okay, so you can take up that as a challenging work. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, those things will be provided. The day one it will be provided, and from day one you will be introduced to the like how you are when you are working in a projects. The minimum things you should know how to work with the source code repositories. Yeah, like no Git you will be using from the day one, and you are going to work with the build tools where you will be using the like when you are building the projects. You will not build a like a simple core Java applications when you are entering into the projects. When you're entering into the projects, you will not go and build that. So the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
thing,
obviously.
those code repositories, Git, then you will be introduced to the build tools. Okay, the build tools, either you can use the Maven or Gradle. Okay, I'll be introducing the two, both the things I'll be introducing. Yeah, Maven and Gradle, both we are going to use it. So mainly we'll be using the Maven, but when you are developing the Spring project, I'll show you that how to work with the Gradle. Then you are going to work with the CI and CD tools like Jenkins and like writing the unit testing by using the JUnit. You will be introduced to the unit testing JUnit 5. Okay, this is a one more thing it will be used, and the test coverage, how much the coverage of the testing is done. Those all the things Jacoco plugins you will be using that, and those Sonar. Okay, then you are going to introduce to the Jenkins. So these are the things you will be like the most of the companies when they are developing the projects, the basic things as a developer. If you are a client, if you are an experienced developer, or you are a beginner, these all these things as a Java developer you must aware of that. This is the minimum. I'm saying that there are other things as well. These are the minimum things is expected from you. Any Java developer, yeah, you will be introducing to the all these things. From the day one we'll follow the best practices. Okay, so the first thing is here we when it comes to the Java. Okay, so as a Java developer, what is my scope? Okay, the most of us will have the questions that no, hey, is it a Java is going to be the like no, can I survive another 10 years, or is it to be the Java is going to make me bread and butter for another 10 years? Yeah, or is it a Java is so popular? Is Python is coming up so well? Is it going to be like, if I learn Java, do I have a good career? So those are the questions, common questions every developer will have. Most of us, even when you start learning something, always will see that what is the scope of the this language. If I learn, if I invest some time, like in 2 3 months, if I work hard, so what is my career is going to be. So trust me that the last 12 years I'm in Java J2EE, I'm working on that. And from last 12 years, I'm listening the same thing. But last 12 years, the top most language is the number one language is Java. Another 10 years, it is sure that it is not going to fall from there. And most of the enterprise applications, what are the enterprise grade applications when you are building, people would prefer the Java than the any other programming languages. When you are building the enterprise grade applications, so people would prefer the Java. Again, I'm stressing and saying that as long as the enterprise applications are up and running, so as a Java developer, you need not to worry about your job. Always you have a lot of opportunities in work in Java. And another thing is, if you learn the core Java, okay, there is a like not even advanced Java, you're not going to the advanced Java, just you learn the core Java. Where I'm going to apply my core Java knowledge. Like if you are going it as a tester or test automation, like now if you are going to use the Selenium, the Selenium test automation tools, when you are going to use it here, you must have the Java knowledge. You must have the Java knowledge. So if you have a Java knowledge, that definitely it will help you in learning the test automation. And another one is Android. Suppose if you are going as an Android developer, you must have the knowledge of the Java. That's one more thing. And if you are going to the Salesforce, it may not use the Java concepts as such. They have got the Apex, but that language is similar to the Java. That is inspired by the Java. So you once you learn core Java, you have a strong knowledge on the core Java. Then you have a chances to decide that should I go to the test automation side, Android side, or Salesforce side, or I want to you want to continue it as a Java developer, Java backend developer. You can choose that here. So this is a place you are going to learn other concepts like how the Spring and Hibernate. Yeah. So then other things you are going to learn here. Spring, Hibernate, JMS, or what are the other things are available. Those frameworks you are going to concentrate. But these days, the most widely used framework is a Spring framework. You're going to use the Spring framework. Even Hibernate also, it comes in the part of the Spring framework. They call it as a Spring framework has got a lot of modules you have. There's something called the core module. Then you are going to take it as a AOP. Then you are writing the MVC. Then you are going to write the REST APIs. Okay, then you are going to take it as a JPA. Yeah, so the list goes on. The list goes on. There is a very big list which is having the Spring framework. And the Spring framework minimum is expected whatever I listed here. As a developer, you should know the Spring framework with the core concepts like AOP, MVC, REST API, JPA, these are the things. And again, you need to know about the databases. Like okay, whether you are a full stack developer or you are a core Java developer or Android developer, it is always good to have the knowledge on the databases. Okay, databases. Now these modern days applications, we have anybody has experience with the databases? So
Yeah.
SQL database, no SQL databases. Okay, good. So what databases do you use?
Oracle, MySQL.
Okay, those belongs to the SQL databases.
Yeah.
Okay, so the SQL databases are like MySQL, the Oracle, Then you have a Sybase, Derby, like you can list goes on. Yeah, Derby, Sybase, then H2 database. These are the databases which follows the SQL standards. The SQL standards are followed by these databases where data will be stored in the form of a rows and columns. That's nothing but the tables. That's nothing but you can say it as a tables. And again, we have a Again, you have a NoSQL databases. These days, you might have heard about the NoSQL databases. Okay, so how many of worked with the NoSQL databases? Does anyone has experience with the NoSQL databases?
No.
Okay, fine. That is fine. Now, NoSQL databases. When it comes to the NoSQL databases, one of the database, the popular database is MongoDB. Yeah, NoSQL, which is a MongoDB. These are one of the database, the most widely used databases. There is another databases are there, CouchDB, then IndexDB, then Google Big Table. So those are the other databases are available. The industry, most of the people are using the NoSQL databases. Is a MySQL database is most widely used. Okay, this
No,
is
no
the
SQL means you don't need a query for getting results.
yeah, you don't need a query. You don't write the SQL queries. Okay, for that
Oh,
you have Mongo query. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah, Sunita, go ahead, please.
no, that only I'm asking. You don't need to write a query if it is no SQL.
You need to write a query, but you don't write a SQL syntax.
Oh, okay. Like select star, you don't need to write like
No,
that.
you don't need to write that. So for that, there is a another Mongo query language they have their own language, their own syntax they have. So those that syntax will be using that. Okay, you don't have to write the select star from or like writing the joins and all these things, and it is like entirely different. Yeah, because SQL databases will follow the standard directory standard structure, but NoSQL databases doesn't have the schema. Those are the schemaless. Yeah, that's the difference between them, and we are going to discuss the both the things, SQL databases and NoSQL database. Both we will be learning in this training period. Okay. So, as a Java developer or any developer, I'm saying that it's not only Java developer, either be it a Python developer or .NET developer or Android developer, you must have knowledge on the one of the databases, either SQL database or NoSQL databases. These days, you are expected to know both the things, SQL and NoSQL databases. Okay. And next one is like whatever you're writing here, still here, you should have the knowledge of the testing. Okay, whatever you are writing the functionality, that functionality should be tested. That functionality should be tested. To test your application, you need in a Java, we'll be using the JUnit, and JUnit is the latest version is a 5. So how you are going to test your application, that knowledge you should have, and you are going to write the JUnit for your code. JUnit for your code, you are going to write it here. Once I done all these things, once I learn all these things and I developed a beautiful application, now when you're develop that application, you should have the knowledge of the packaging. Okay. Okay. Packaging, how you are going to do the package. Okay, how you are going to do the package. What is a package? And when you once you build your application, that application needs to be, that application, sorry. Okay, so we are going to do the packaging, we are going to do it here. When you are doing the packaging, so how you are going to do the packaging, you are going to do it here. Now in a Java world, we have a jar, we have var, then we have a something called the EAR, then there is a AAR. These are the packaging types. So jar is a Java archive file, web archive file, enterprise archive file, and AAR is an Android archive file. So once you develop this application, these days you will be using this two you are going to use very often. Jar and var, we are going to use it here. Jar and var. This is as an Android developer, you'll be using the AAR, you are going to use it here. When you're working with the EJB's concepts, then you'll be using the EAR. And jar is a Java archive file. What are the classes you have developed? You are going to do one package, you are going to do it here. all the related classes you are going to bundle into the one single unit. Like it's a kind of a zip file, you can say that. So now here we are going to use the jar var, and this jar and var files you need to run it in somewhere so that people can be accessed. So then you should know deployment, how you are going to deploy your application. So these are the places where you are going to work with the servers. So you will be introduced to the Tomcat. Yeah, the Tomcat server you will be introduced, and at the same time when you are deploying that, you should know a little bit about the cloud environment. Okay, the deployment environment when it comes to the
Lakshman,
yeah,
just
go ahead.
one thing. So when you say servers, Tomcat, these are different from the Unix servers that we deploy, right?
Yes, when you say that deployment, the Unix servers are different. Unix servers are going to offer you like where multiple users can connect to that server.
Right.
And when it comes to the application server, sir, it is going to run it in Unix servers. Application servers are going to run it in a some application then some operating system. Yeah, to run your web servers or application servers, you need a operating system. The Unix servers will provide a provision where you can go and run your application servers. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
What is Tomcat then? Like, it's not an application server?
It is application server. It is application server. Like here you have a. Let me show you this. Uh, yeah, your operating system is running some. This is your operating system. In this operating system, you are going to install the Tomcat. You are going to install the Tomcat. So this Tomcat is going to run it in a like this is server. Let's take it here. You are working in a real time. Your server will be having some IP address 123 dot some 22 dot and 1 dot some 143. This is a place where your server is running, and this will be generally when you are working in a real time. Every time typing this IP address is a different, then they will give the one name for this here. Like this is a, let's put it as a dev1. So the moment you say that dev1, it will be connecting to this server. This Unix server, it is connecting here. Now inside that server, you are going to install the your application server. You are going to install Tomcat. Probably it is running in some port number. Let's put it as a 8090 is a port number. It is running here. Now, in order to connect with this your application, you are going to type the dev1 colon and 8090. This is your port number. You are going to connect that here. Dev1 8090 you are going to connect, and that means you are first you are connecting with this server, and internally you are going to connect with the one more application server which is running, and for that server you are establishing the connection. This is the way you will do that here. Okay. Now the Tomcat, and there is a JBoss, so you have Glassfish, then Jetty. There are a lot of servers are available, and we will be working with the Tomcat. Now here, when you take this, yeah, when you take this here, the environment, like you should know how to work with the AWS. Or equivalent of that, you have a Heroku. Heroku is another cloud platform, and AWS, where once you build your application, how you are going to deploy into the Tomcat, AWS, or Heroku. Heroku, or you can say it, I will say it as a R. Okay, here we are going to give it as a AWS or Heroku, you are going to take it here. So AWS is you know that like it is Amazon, which is going to, they are going to offer you cloud services where you can buy a Linux server or Linux machine you can buy, where you can install all the things. Then you are going to deploy your application. That's one way. Otherwise, like directly you can take your WAR file. They will offer you as a Tomcat as a service they are going to offer. Like you will take your application and you are going to deploy that. Depends on your pricing model. Depends on your application. You will be choosing that. Sometimes people will buy a the operating system from them, the space and everything they will buy, and they will manage that. The experienced developers, AWS experienced developers, they will manage those things. But some people, what they will do, they will take it as a Tomcat and the database, those two services they will buy, and directly they will go on to deploy the application. They need not to manage the operating system and all these things. And Heroku is also as a cloud platform, which is a company of the Salesforce, where these guys also will offer the platform as a service. You can use the platform as a service where you can register with them and you can go on to deploy your applications. Now, I would those who are developing the hobby projects, if you want to deploy and you want to make a quick prototype and that needs to be advertised, better go with the Heroku. They don't ask you any credit card or they don't charge you anything. It is a free up to 5 applications, but there is some restrictions. The restrictions comes in the form of you cannot make in a minute more than 1,000 requests. Obviously, you will not develop a application like which gets the more than 1,000 requests in a minute, in a second or something. They have some restrictions they have. When you're doing the quick prototyping of application, suppose you have a idea of building some application where you want to deploy and you want to do the marketing, better go with the Heroku. AWS also offer the 1,000 hours free, but there is a if you forget to stop some of the services, you may be asked to pay some bills. To avoid that, as a beginner, if you are learning or if you are exploring about the cloud, better go with the Heroku. Yeah, it supports the Python and Node and Java. Three programming languages are supported in Heroku. So I'll show you that how we are going to work with the Heroku. Now here, when you are building this application, then you are going to use the initially I told that here what are the code you are going to write it here. That code needs to be get evaluated, how quality code you have written. Is it a code quality is good or bad? We need to check that here. For that, we'll be using the Sonar. This is a source code analyzer, static source code analyzer. It will tell you that the quality of your code, whether you followed the proper naming conventions, is there any dead code, is there any unused code. So these all the things it will be checked by the Sonar Cube. And in the organizations, few people job is to only fix the Sonar fixes. Initially, when you start your project, so there will be a different levels of peoples will be there. The code has to be consistent. You shouldn't be so multiple styles. So everywhere it should look like the same styles it should follow. For that purpose, to enforce that, people ask you to run the Sonar Lynch. That Sonar Lynch will tell you that the quality of your code, how good the code you have written. Yeah. And Jenkins is this all the things, whatever you are going to write it here. First, you need to, once you build your application, that needs to go and to deploy into the server, and it has to run the Sonar, and at the same time, it has to deploy your application into the some places when you're deploying that application also. So first you will be deploying into the QA, then you are going to deploy into the production. So before going to the production or QA, you will be defining the quality gates. If Sonar Cube errors are more than certain errors, it shouldn't be allowed to deploy. Or if your the testing coverage is more than if it is less than certain percentage, it should not be deployed. Those are all the defined rules you are going to define in Jenkins, and the Jenkins is going to, the moment you push your source code into a particular repository, from there it is going to pick and it's going to build the application. And if all the quality gates are satisfied, then it is going to deploy into the production. Otherwise, the concerned person, it is going to spam the mail.
So Sonar is within the Jenkins. It's a
No, it is a separate plugin, but it will be integrated with the Jenkins. Okay. Okay. That is a Jenkins has got the Sonar plugin. You can
somebody defines the rules in this Sonar.
No, already the predefined rules are available. That rules are good enough. But if it is required, you can add your own rules.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. So this is a Jenkins. We are going to use it as a CI and CD tools. We are going to use it that. So these are the things you will be learning in this entire Java course. And what are the things we are going to cover that's already TOC is shared with you. Okay. And if it's not, like you guys can have a look at that here. This is things. Another thing is I missed, like you should get familiar with the one IDE. Yeah, so this is IDE. Already, if you are familiar with some IDE, yeah, go ahead with that. If not, we are going to use the Eclipse. You are going to use it here. Okay, the Eclipse is the IDE. I'm going to use it throughout these sessions. I'll be using, and even I am familiar with the IntelliJ also. So either you can use the either IntelliJ or Eclipse, or if you are familiar with the Visual Studio Code, even Java programs also you can run it in the Visual Studio Code. So I would ask you people to get familiar with the Eclipse mode. Yeah, so the Eclipse, most of the organizations, it's an open source one thing, and most of them they prefer to use the Eclipse. If a company is sound enough and they have a good money, and if you're working in a company where they are ready to pay IDE, they use the IntelliJ. IntelliJ is their IDE. Yeah, IntelliJ has a very nice IDE compared to Eclipse, but where you need to pay per year $200 something it is there. $200 or $250 something we need to pay that. If your organization is, and there also you have a two versions. One is a community edition and the enterprise edition. So the community edition is good enough for us to learn the Java. But when you're working in enterprise grade applications, you need a other features. Then people may buy the IntelliJ Enterprise Edition. They will buy that. Enterprise Edition is a little costly. So if don't invest now when you're learning that, you need not to invest on that. $250 or $300 approximately. I don't know exactly what is the price. If your company is giving that, yeah, then that's well and good. Okay, here Eclipse, by using the Eclipse, you can develop the core Java application to the source, the enterprise grade applications. You can develop that here. Eclipse also comes with the different flavors. And another thing is Java. We are going to use the Oracle Java. We'll be using the Oracle Java. There is a two Java flavor Java versions are available. One is a OpenJDK, another one is a Oracle Java. OpenJDK is it's open sourced. Yeah, some people will purely work on the OpenJDK, and we are going to work with the Oracle Java. We are going to work, and the version of the Java will be working on the 8, and the current version is latest version of Java is 16. Okay, the latest version is a 16, and we are going to work with the Java 8. Now, you may ask the one more question. So why don't we go with the latest version? So the latest version, industry is not started using that. Whenever they release the new versions, people will not immediately migrate, code it into the when Java is released the one new version, people immediately will not migrate the code to the new versions. They have to see that the stabilization of the version. Once version is stabilized, there is no bugs. Then the people may move from one version to another version. So always Java 16 it is there. Like people now industries started using the Java 8. Java 8 there are a lot of features they have added. Still people are adopting the Java 8. So all our company products are what are the services applications we are doing here Java 8. Now we are planning to move to the Java 11. Okay, then we will move to the next major release like Java 15 or Java 16. We will release that. This is the way, the phased manner people will move that. And whenever version to one version to another version when it changes. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Sunita, please.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm asking so many questions.
No worries. Yeah.
Now, what is like Oracle Java? I mean, whatever we write in Eclipse, right? Usually we write Hello World and all these programs.
Uh-huh.
You mean that is different? That is Oracle Java, and that
See,
is
whenever you okay, I'll explain that. Okay, sure, good question. I'll explain that. Okay. Now this is what we are going to use the JDK 8. I'm going to use it here. And when you are once you are about to complete that, I will explain what are the new features which is added in Java 9 and 10, 11 and 16. What are the features they added here? There is 8 to 16. There is no major changes. Okay, there are a few changes they have introduced, like no module concept and those things they introduced. Now it doesn't make any sense without knowing Java 8 going to the Java 16, and I'll explaining that. Now, answer to your question: what is the Oracle and Java and all those things? Like now, when you are taking the any programming language, okay, when you are taking the any programming, when you take the programming, okay, like you are going to write a set of instructions, and by that instructions you are going to build a one small program you're writing. Yeah, you're writing a small program. The program we will write it here in order to solve some problem. Yeah, that's what you are going to do here. Now suppose if I'm taking here, this is the layman terms I'm speaking. Okay, if you are already some programming background, it like you may get irritated, so don't worry, just bear with me sometime. Yeah, now you need to find the let's take it as a simple example, factorial. Now you are trying to find the factorial of a number. This number we don't know what is the user is going to give that here. Now I'm asking you to find the, we'll take it as a factorial of a 6. Mathematically, first you need to think about that. How do I solve the factorial of a 6? Mathematically, you should know how I'm going to find the factorial of a 6. So we know that its answer is very simple. Okay, factorial of any number, how do you find that? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 into 6. If I get this result, this is nothing but I am done with that. 1 into 2 into that number, we are going to say it here. This is a value, you are going to get it here. These things, how we are going to take it here? First, I am going to take I'll take the result. Initially, I will take it as a 1. Then I am going to say that repeat. Okay, I'm going to say that, or we'll write it as, instead of this, we are going to write a loop to that number. Okay, this is the number, I'm going to take it here. To that number, this is a factorial. Okay, it doesn't require any programming language to solve this here. Just we are going to solve this here. I'm writing a loop to until that number. Until that number, you are running in a loop. And here, what you are doing here, res equal to res into that this value. This is some I value. I'm going to take it here. Let's take it as a I. We can take it as a I. Initially, you will take it as a I equal to 1 or I equal to 2. I'm going to take it here. So I value to until that number, you run that, you are going to increment here. Here we are going to say that increment I. And finally, you print the result. This is what the programmatically you are going to write a algorithm you are writing here. What is that algorithm? My number is a 6 and I'm taking the result as a 1 and I'm taking my I value is a 2. And I'm saying that you run this loop from 2 to until that number, then you are going to write it here, result into I, and that result you are going to again store it into the result, and I'm incrementing the I by 1. Increment the I by 1, we are going to say that here, I value next time it is a 2. 2 is less than that number, and again it is going to multiply. This is the way it is going to keep on multiplying here. Finally, once loop is exhausted, then it is going to return the result value. By the time you can see here, the first value is I value is 1, res into the I value is a 2, 2 into 1, which is going to be 2. Now res value is a 2, I value is a, now here just we are going to put it as a I value is a 2. Now increment by I, now I value is a 3. Now in this case, res equal to res into I. What is I value? 3. Res value is how much? 2. 3 into 2, 6. Increment I value. Now it is a 4. Again, it is going to be multiply this here. This is going to be 24. Again, increment this 5. So again, it is going to multiply 120. Increment this value 6. This is going to be 720. Then again, it is a 7. Is it a until number? but it is more than that number, then it is going to come out of that, and finally it is going to print the result. This is going to return the result it is written here. This way of writing program, we call it as a algorithms. We are writing a algorithm, we are going to write it here. This algorithm, we need to tell the computer, hey, can you go and execute this my program? Whatever you are writing in a mathematically, then we convert it like a English we have written, which is we call it as algorithm. This algorithm you have to convert into a program. In order to convert into the program, now you need to choose one of the programming languages. You have to choose that here, either C or C++ or Java. You have so many options here, or .NET. Yeah, .NET, or you can choose the Python. You are going to choose the one of these programming languages. You are going to choose here. Now, when you are working with these programming languages, first you are going to write the code. Your first step one is write code, and then you are going to do the compile. Then you are going to do the execute. These are the steps we need to do that here. First, you have to write a code. In order to write a code, you need a editor. You need an editor, or you can use the IDE. Okay, editor or IDE, it is required. Now here, you need to compile that program. Why we need a compilation? Let me take it here, same program. I'm going to open the notepad. So this is a place where I'm writing in my Java class. I'm writing here, public class factorial. This is a class I'm going to write it here. And this is a place where I'm going to write my main method, public static. Okay, don't worry about all these things. I'll be discussing one by one. Void main string ... args. And now I need to write a program here. What is saying here? Hey, you take a number value as a 6. Here int number equal to, I'm going to take it as a 6. Then it is saying that you take the one result variable, initially 1. Now you write a one for loop from 2 to until that number. For int I equal to 2 to I less than or equal to that number I plus plus. Okay, then you are going to say that res star res equal to res into I. Then finally we are going to print system.out. I'm going to do the out.println and factorial of what is that number plus is. Okay, here we are going to say that is you will be saying that the result value you are printing here. This is what you have written. It is like, no, you are writing in a high level language. You are writing here. It's like English. It is like English, like no human can read that. Now we can read this English. You can read this English language. Suppose same program. Okay, now I'm going to save this program. First, let me save this program. Save as, and I'm going to save it in desktop. I created a demo, Java demo. Yeah, this is a place where I'm going to store it as a factorial, like the class name already copied, factorial of Java. This is the extension of the Java files. We are going to give it as a Java extension I'm giving here. Now, when you write this Java program, you have written in a simple program you have written, which is like a high level you have written. This high level language, only we can read it like English language it is. Now, to tell your computer, this program has to be executed. This program has to be executed here. And to tell your computer to execute this program, it won't understand these high level languages. Again, this high level language has to be converted into the mission understandable languages. That is the places where you use the compilers. We are going to use it here. Okay. So this to convert high level language into mission level. Okay, to convert the high level language into the mission level language, we use the compilers. That is the job of the compilers. Now here I need to compile my program. In order to compile this program, you are working with the Java. You need a Java compilers. You need a Java compilers. So this is a place where you are going to install there is something called the JDK. JDK download. You are going to take the JDK download where you can choose the JDK 8. I'm going to take it here. So you will be downloading the JDK, and here we are going to choose your operating system is a Windows 64-bit. You will be downloading the JDK you are going to download. Once you download the JDK, then you need to follow the installation wizard. Just you click on the next. Here I'm going to download. When it's downloading that, it will ask you for the registration. Okay, please do the registration. If you have already registered and you have a registered account, you can just log in. Then it is going to get you your JDK version is going to be downloaded here. So I have already account here. I'm going to say it as a. So just I'm going to give you guys also can create an account with them. So now invalid username and password. Yeah, this is a problem. Okay, just I signed in. Oh, it is saying that my username and password is wrong. Yeah, we need to get that here. Like now, I have to fix this. Like, what is username and password? I need to reset my username and password. No, it is downloading actually. Sorry. Yeah, it is giving the error, but it is downloading. You can see here my JDK is downloading here. This is what, but still it is saying that username and password is wrong. Yeah, that is fine. So here we are going to get it here. This is the JDK open files. You can see here. Yeah, I have already installed that. That's one reason I'm not going to install once again. Here it is going to download the JDK. It is downloaded here. This is a JDK. You just double click on that. You follow the installation wizard. Okay, here it is asking me my admin password. Yeah, where it will tell you that already my JDK is installed. You just you follow the installation wizard. You follow that. Click next. Don't change anything. By default, this is going to install in C drive. If you go to the program files, and here you have a Java and JDK, it will be installing in this directory. It is going to install. In the bin directory, you will see Java compiler. This is a Java C. There is a command called the Java C. This is a Java compiler. In order to compile your program, you require a Java compiler. You require a Java compiler. Now here we are going to use the Java C, and you give your program name factorial.java. So which is going to compile, and it will generate a one more new file. It is going to generate. In case of the Java, it will generate a new file that is a dot class file. This dot class file contains the byte instructions, which will not understand anything. Out of this. So these dot class files are in other programming languages. If you take the C and C++, directly when you compile that, it will generate the executable files it is going to generate. But in case of the Java, it will generate a intermediate file. It will generate. Why they have taken this intermediate file is they have a good reason for that. Now when you compile, you are taking the Java file, you are going to compile this program. Once you compile this here, it will generate a intermediate file. It is generating here. This intermediate file, they call it as a dot class file. Okay, so this is a .java file. When you're taking the .java file, this is going to generate when you compile, it will generate the dot class file. So now here you have a different operating system. You have a Windows, you have a Linux, you have a Mac. Like there are different operating systems you have. Once you generated this dot class file can go and run on any operating system. This is a Windows, this is a Linux, this is a Mac. It can go and run on any operating system. To run this operating system, to run on any operating system, this dot class file, you're going and running in a Windows, you can go and run it in a Linux, you can go and run it in a Mac. You compiled once, run on any machine. Compiled once and run anywhere. This concept we call it as a platform independent. Compile once and run on any machine. By provided that you have a Java runtime environment is installed here. Here you have installed the Java runtime environment. Here you have installed the Java runtime environment. That we call it as a JRE. That we call it as a JRE. Once you compile your program, you can go and run on any machine wherever JRE is present. Wherever JRE is present, you take this program, you are going to run it in a, you can run it on any operating system. You compiled on some operating system, you don't worry about that, where you compiled. You can take that class files, you can run it on any machines. Any machines you can run it here, by provided that there is a JRE is present. JRE is present. Now here, I'm going to run this application. Let me take it here. Now I'm going to run it here, Java factorial. You don't give the dot class or anything. To start my Java runtime environment, I'm using the command called the Java command, and I'm giving my class name is a factorial. If things are fine, it is saying that, hey, factorial of 6 is a 720. Factorial of 6 is 720. Now, answer to your question, where is a Oracle Java? Where is a Oracle Java? That Oracle Java is doing this compilation and running your dot class files. Running your dot class files, it is doing here.
The translation, basically it translates our high level language to machine understandable.
Exactly. Okay. Now the question is here, when you are using the command prompt, first thing is what we have done. We have written your Java program in editor. We edited in a notepad or some editor we have used. We typed out, let me clear off all this. We typed your program, then you went to the command prompt where you compiled your program. If things are okay, then it generated dot class file, then you are going to execute that here. Practically, it is impossible when you are working in a larger applications, switching between the editor, again going to the command prompt, and again fixing the issues in editor if there is any compilation issues, and it doesn't give the any key assistance. Now suppose if I make some mistake, it will not tell you that, hey, you made a mistake. You made a mistake, it will not tell you that. Here I want to know, suppose if I'm taking the string name equal to, I'm taking it as a Krish or something I'm taking here. I want to convert this name to the uppercase. When I'm displaying here system.out.println name dot, what is that? What is the uppercase method? Okay, is it to uppercase or uppercase? What is that method? It is not giving the any key assistance also. We are not getting any help, because and remembering all the things is very, very difficult also. Now there is no key assistance, then only you have a API, only you have a option is going through the API. JDK 8 API docs. You go to the JDK API docs. Now you can see here API docs. This is the API documentation. Now you are looking at the package name called the java.lang package. Java.lang package, and we are going to the string class. Since I know Java, I'm easily I can navigate to that. Here, when you're learning the first time, yeah, this is what the API documentation, what are the packages are available, what are the classes are available as a part of the Java language. Everything they have documented. You can see here in string class there are a lot of methods are available, and what method to use to convert into the uppercase. Okay, I need to go to the this, and you are going to look at this here. To uppercase. This is a method I should use to convert into the uppercase. Now I'm going to write it here. I'm going to write it here, and I'm going to do this here. Cool. Now I made a lot of errors. I made it here. A lot of errors coming here. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello everyone, it's Lakshmi from Career IT. So just a small info from the regular sessions will be starting from tomorrow onwards. The timings will be updated in mail. So everyone please do check your mail for timings and the batch details. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lakshmi. So now here, I made a lot of mistakes. I made it here. Okay, intentionally made mistake that. Now here we are going to do the factorial. Oh no, factorial.java. You see here, you are getting the errors. Hey, you made a mistake here, you made a mistake here, you made a mistake here. It is telling that. During the, when I'm trying to compile that, it is saying this, there are so many mistakes you made. Now I should go and correct it here. I corrected 1, 2, and third one I missed. Again, I'll go to the compiler and I'll do the compilation. Again, its compiler is going to say that, hey, you made a mistake here. Okay, now I did this here. I'm going to make a mistake here. Intentionally, I'm making a mistake. Now I'm going to do it here. It is saying that to uppercase, this method is not available. It is saying here. Again, I'll go back and I'll fix that. Okay, now there is no problem. It is compiled here. You just imagine that hardly here it is a 10 lines. Sometimes your class may have the 1,000 lines also. And 1,000 lines code you are writing and you are not getting the key assistance, and when you make some syntax error, it is not highlighting that. It's very, very difficult to work with the notepad and the command prompt. So to do the compilation, I should go to the one place. To run my program, I need to go to one place. To edit my code, I need to go to the one more application. So this is a really very difficult, and you are wasting the time in switching between the different applications. In order to avoid that, you need a integrated environment where it comes with the IDE, it comes with the runtime environment, it comes with the debuggers, it comes with the console. Everything it should be comes in one place. That we call it as a IDE, integrated development environment. The integrated development environment. So there are a lot of IDEs are available in Java world. The most widely used IDEs are IntelliJ and Eclipse and NetBeans. And here we are going to use the Eclipse. We are going to use it here. I'm going to use the Eclipse. So how to install the Eclipse, we'll see that maybe upcoming sessions. Now here I'm going to say it as a, I'm creating the one workspace. I'm going to create it here. The batch 8 WS, I'm going to create it here, workspace. Once you open this Eclipse, yeah. So this Eclipse is going to come with the whatever editor, compilers, and debuggers, and console, the necessary tools, whatever it's required. So everything comes in a single place. Now I'm going to close the welcome file. The first thing is we need to create a project. I'm going to create a project, and this I'm saying it as a Java project. And I'm going to give it as a core Java. And here I'm using the, I don't want to use the JD 15, I'm going to use the JDK 8. I'm going to use it here, where I'm going to say that my Java runtime environment is a JDK 8. Core-Java, I'll be taking my project name. Then we are going to click on next and click on finish. Okay, no problem. Open the prospective. Yes, we are saying here. Now this is a project, it is created here. It got the runtime environment. What is the runtime environment? JDK, it got it that here. And there is a src folder. This is a place where you are going to write your Java class. You are going to write it here. New class. I'll be saying it as a new class. This is what we are going to say it as a factorial. And I'm going to give the one package name com dot the career it dot cj core Java, and I'll be saying the demo. You see here, this is a package names has got its own significance. com.careerit.cj. Whenever you take the reverse of your domain name, your project name, your module name, that is the meaning of this package names. Okay. Now I'll be saying here finish. This is going to create a one class for me. And here we are going to write a main method we are writing here. And what are the code we have written here as it is, I'm going to take it here. I'm not going to do anything. great here. Just we are going to take it here. Suppose if I make any syntax error, immediately it is telling that, hey, you made a syntax errors. You made a syntax error. You made a syntax errors. And here I'm going to correct it immediately. I'll be correcting here. Whenever you make a syntax errors, immediately it is going to be highlighted here. Suppose if I am checking here, hey, name dot, what are the methods are available? Okay, to lowercase, to uppercase. These are the different methods are available. It is giving the key assistance. It is giving here. I can use the to lowercase. I'm going to use it here. Now to run your program, right click here, run as Java application, which is going to run, and here console is also coming here. You see here, editor is here, your compilers are available here, and immediately that the moment you write the line, immediately it is compiled. Then to run your application, to debug applications, the tools are available, and to see the output console is available here. Everything is integrated in one place. So that's the reason we call it as we call it as a IDEs, integrated development environment. This will give the more productivity when you are working in projects. The most of the times you are going to work with the one of the IDEs. You are going to work with that. As a beginner, you should get familiar with the how to compile your Java program, how to write your Java programs, like now how what is the behind the scenes it is happening. To get to familiar with that, initially first 1 or 2 classes we may use the notepad with the command prompt we will use to compile your Java program, to run your Java program. The moment you go to the 1 or 2 classes, so immediately we'll switch to the IDE, integrated development environment. There is no point in spending more time in notepad, because the day one you are going to work in a projects with the IDEs. So this is the main advantage of using the IDEs. Okay. Yeah, guys, any questions here? Any questions for me?
One last.
Yeah, go ahead.
So say I am not a technical person. If I am not a technical person, if I ask you what is Spring, what is Hibernate, like the both difference between those.
Okay. See, Spring is a framework. The Spring framework and Hibernate is also a framework. Hibernate is going to work with the only databases. Okay. To interact with the database and to get the data from the database, to insert the data into the database. So these objects you are going to insert into the database. When you are inserting the objects into the databases, you need to write a SQL queries.
Right.
SQL queries is generated by the Hibernate. Hibernate knows when you are inserting the object what queries to file. Whenever you are retrieving the objects from the whenever you are retrieving the data from the database, how to convert the results into the objects, the Hibernate aware of that. Hibernate scope is very, very limited. It works with the only databases. Whereas a Spring is a framework, it will provide a very comprehensive tools for you to develop your application. Like you are working with you are writing the APIs, you are going to integrating with the Hibernate, and you are going to write the AOP concepts. Like all these things, it is like a big umbrella where you can, what are the things you see required, you are going to use it that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lakshman,
Okay.
how long is this course? Like,
It will take 2 months.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So it would be mostly on the
uh,
weekdays, like Monday to Friday, or
yes,
weekends?
Monday to Saturday it is.
Okay.
Okay. Others, any questions? Yeah. Thank you, Sunil. Okay. Yeah, this is what just I plan to introduce, like, so what are the things you are going to learn in the demo? What are the things you are going to learn in another 2 months time, and how this program will get started with that. Like, now we'll start from the very basics. We'll discuss about the how to install the JDK, how you are going to install the Eclipse, and we'll go ahead with the learning concept. It is a completely hands-on session. Okay, we will not take any ready-made examples, and we will take the live projects. Like at the end of this course, you will be in a position to develop a application and deploy the applications. I'll show you the one of these IPL. This is a kind of application, a simple application classroom example. Just I'm going to show you that. Okay, this application is a classroom example which is deployed in it is deployed in the Heroku. Sunita, can you go on mute, please? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so this is one of the classroom examples. We can take that here, like this is just it is developed in last year. Yeah, now 2021 IPL is also going on. When you click on this here, which is going to get you some data and which will be visualizing in the form of a chart, like like to be practical, like how we are going to develop these APIs. Yeah. How we are going to develop this application. And I'll show you that, like so APIs how we are going to write, and there is something called this Swagger documentation, how API documents will be published. So all these things will be introduced, and at the end of the course, you will be in a position to develop this application, deploy into the servers, and finally maintaining your application. Okay, so to do this application, first I'll give the requirement and where you will be converting into the requirement to the UML diagrams. Then you develop the class class diagrams. Then finally you will convert into the code, and once code is done, you will do the test cases. Once everything is done, then you are going to deploy into the servers. So here you can use the either Heroku or AWS. If you have AWS account, you can. I'll tell you that how to deploy into the AWS. If you already know that, you can directly take that application and you will be deploying into the AWS. So these kind of projects you will build in a classroom phase itself. Yeah. So completely, it's a hands-on sessions. I'll be coding even small example also. I'll be coding. We will not take any ready-made examples. Yeah, and from the day one, we'll start using the best practices. Yeah, I'm more or less I'm done. So whatever I want to convey, just I'm done with that. Like if you have any questions, I'll take your